Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Café con Cass. I am Cassandra here at CCTV. Wayne is in the control room here at CCTV. And yeah, I'm just really excited to bring you an episode today. There's a lot to talk about. Right now, we are going into the holiday season. I had a really interesting look at what the malls and the scene was. It was a lot. It was a lot because I went in for a pair of shoes. I got Christmas songs. It wasn't even Thanksgiving. Kind of made me just feel really odd. Made me feel this unneeded, unwanted pressure. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, but I'm feeling happy and I'm feeling a couple other things. So, in the spirit of Café con Cas, let's just go right to the doc cam and do a little, emotional check-in here. Oh, here we go. I like that. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's move on over. Find my pen. Okay. So, Café con Cas. Here we are approaching the holidays. I'm definitely a little bit smug. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got things under control. But then I get a little bit cautious, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, here's winter. As much as I prepare for winter, and as long as I've lived here in Massachusetts, which has been for about 15 years now, when the cold weather comes, I am still completely surprised. Okay, so yeah, I'm also happy, always happy to be here in the studio. I did want to take a moment, though, to acknowledge last week's episode with Katrine. Katrine Burkett was our guest artist. And to be honest, I was like walking on the way here and I was thinking, okay, more so than guest artist, she was definitely a guest producer, a guest curator. She came with her work. I was particularly inspired by her sketchbook, something we actually didn't get to talk about. We did do, I'm just fixing my lip, we did do a slideshow of her work, but I just noticed her sketchbook and it just brought me to some some really great feelings, some really great sketches that I've done myself also that I kind of wanted to share with you right now. Let's see. When I was this goes back to our emotional check-in, but actually when I was studying for my exam, I created this at one of my favorite local spots on Dala Cafe, great study spot. But here we're gonna go over to this right now. Okay, great. All right. So yeah, this definitely goes into the feeling work too. I just wanted to show you like thanks Wayne, one of my own pieces. This to me, it's one of my favorite ways to create with just Sharpie. The facial expression, the juxtaposition of the hand, or it's like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? This is also on my mind and what I've been feeling. So thank you, Katrine, for that inspiration. And I just want to say on behalf of Katrine, because we couldn't end the last episode without her saying goodbye, she definitely was excited and wanted to say that too. Okay, so let's wrap this up over here. So let's see, holidays are coming, so I'm feeling a little bit anxious, definitely hopeful for the season. The holidays are a really interesting season of the year. There's a lot of pressure, I think, with commercials. There's a lot of pressure to, produce this memory, produce this type of perfect memory, like the Macy's department store visits in the city. Some of my favorite Christmas memories are when we tried the least and we were out and we were walking as a family. I'm just looking something up as I address the holidays that are coming up. So on that note, I had actually posted on my Facebook wall, I was like, okay, I promise something that I'm going to do for you guys is give you a couple of pointers, a couple of hints for the holiday season of what you can do to actually prepare for the season and a couple gift-giving gifts. So number one, Number one gift giving gift would be a gift from the heart. I mean it. It's not like you're gonna go back and you get those, like remember the popsicles? You used to build a little house or a little box for your mom. It doesn't mean that you're gonna go out and get these things. It just means something from the heart. I gave my coworkers a really great gift last season that I was proud of. I did mix CDs and I tailored each mix for their personalities that I share with them in the office. And I went to Papyrus and so that was like the little investment, right? So do a little something, get out to the store. I went to Papyrus and I got this gift wrap paper and a puffy pen. So I wrote in gold their names, and it was just like a lot of fun. And they really enjoyed that. So another tip that I had for you, so I was going to the sale through this holiday season. The number one emotional tip I can have and would like to project and say, take care of yourself. Take 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, just check in with yourself and say, okay, am I taking care of myself? How do I feel right now? Okay, that Thanksgiving food smells really good, but my aunt's kind of driving me crazy. Like, what do I need to help myself right now? Kind of like check in with yourself a little bit, too, and that's the greatest gift you can give to yourself. And a great example of that I'd like to share, too, is when I was at the department store and I needed to get something for myself, which is mascara remover, like something gentle for the face, so I'm not like, not ripping, but yeah, so I'm not doing more damage. So I went to go get that, and this woman was trying to sell me this gift, and I'm like, I don't want perfume, I don't want those things. So she sold me this big gift box, this big gift set. And it was really nice. It was from one of those nice makeup counters, and it was really affordable. So not only did I get my makeup remover, I also got mascara along with it. The price of two with all these little samples. So I said to myself, not in the gift of re-giving, but why don't I make a purchase that keeps on giving? So I kind of divided up those two, repackaged them, and hopefully none of my colleagues are watching right now. So it's a surprise for them. If not, I'm sorry, but I'll do something else to surprise you. That's one thing. Another thing are plants, just giving from the heart and doing things that really aren't going to really complicate your life, because something that's really difficult about the holiday season, in the spirit of healing, is there's mixed emotions, there's mixed anxiety, and also if you have a pre-existing condition, it may be aggravated, talking about in the realm of mental health, it may be aggravated by the holiday season. So that's something I also really wanted to address today, and I'm actually going to go over to the computer, and I'm just gonna pull something up. So I'm just pulling up the website and just pulling up seasonal affective disorder. I've had many conversations over the summer with friends. I'm loving the sunlight. This is my season. I'm most energetic. And in the wintertime, I hear I want to be like a bear. I want to hide inside. So I just wanted to just kind of, in the spirit of healing and also diversity, which I wanted to say I learned a new word. And diversity can also be cognitive diversity. So diversity dealing with the brain. So, if your body, your neurological system, or your nervous system reacts in a different way, your brain reacts in a different way, that's also cognitive diversity. So we're going to go back to this page. So right now I'm actually on a government site, the U.S. National Library of Medicine. So this is a public site. And it just gives a little bit of overview of what seasonal depression is, or seasonal affective disorder rather, which is a type of depression that occurs at a certain time of year, usually in the winter time. And it also has a little bit more information. SAD may begin during the teen years or in adulthood. Like other forms of depression, occurs more often in women than men. People who live in places with long winter nights are at greater risk of SAD. Hello, Cambridge. Let's see. Less common form of the disorder involves depression during the summer months. So it then talks about symptoms. Let's go to symptoms. Symptoms are what the medical industry treats symptoms. So some of these symptoms are hopelessness, increased appetite with weight gain. I think that also occurs naturally on Thanksgiving. Increased sleep, less energy and ability to concentrate, loss of interest in work or other activities, sluggish movements, social withdrawal, unhappiness, and irritability. So yeah, a lot of those things we may argue we feel already. But again, if you feel an intensity of those symptoms, it's really important to reach out to a loved one, a trusted friend, a trusted leader, whomever you like to reach to. There are resources that are out there to help you through that season. So I know a majority of people who treat the transition to the wintertime in a variety of ways. I mean, whether it's preparing for your coats, wearing warmer winter jackets, taking vitamin supplements, changing your routine. These are all things that you can do to help treat the winter blues. So in the spirit of that, I wanted to share something with you. So today's like a low-key paper day. I also have a video queued up from an artist who I really love. However, I wanted to show something else that is really interesting and kind of means a lot, because I'm not going to be here next Monday. I'm going to be traveling for Thanksgiving, and the holidays are coming up. So, in the spirit of talking about certain issues and being constructive about them, I wanted to share some resources that you may want to think about when you had some more time. If you don't have the season off, still, honor the changing of seasons in a different way. But we're going to go to the doc cam because I have something for you, and then we're actually going to go back to the computer. So it's a little techie today. So let me actually click on the doc cam. Okay, so this is something that's really special to me, and this is called a basic personal rights. So it's like, the Bill of Rights, which was 14 amendments that were ratified and talks about free speech, including the First Amendment. So this in particular, I don't know, let's zoom in here. Let's see if we can just scroll down. Okay, so this is a really awesome resource. So it says basic personal rights. Okay, 1, I have the right to ask for what I want. Write a letter to Santa if you have some inner childhood issues to resolve. But seriously, know that you can ask for what you want. So if you need space, if you need time, if you need a vegetarian option at your grandma's when she absolutely loves meat, ask for what you want. I actually need some water, so I'm going to give that to myself now. All right. I have the right to say no. It's number 2. That's really hard. I think that takes a lot of practice. This is a really helpful sheet, but saying no is something that's really hard to do. Number 3, and of course, mind you, as I'm going through these, you have the right to make your own list at any time. So that's also a gift that you can give to yourself, and a gift that keeps on giving, because you can revisit that gift in later years and just fold it up and put it next to your Christmas candle or your fake Christmas tree. I don't know, but leave a little, give a little gift to yourself. All right. So anyways, number 3. I have the right to feel and express my feelings, both positive and negative. I have the right to make mistakes. I have the right to my own opinions and convictions. This is especially important to me around Christmas and holiday season, because we have a lot of different holidays to celebrate. Some people don't even celebrate a religious holiday at all during the season, but we have many different reasons to be celebrating this holiday season. So you have your right to your own opinion, you have your right to your own conviction. And if you don't know what conviction means, let me pull it up and read you the definition, because I think you hear a lot of courage, choice, options, but all right, let's see. Okay, so number 2. So conviction also is in the court of law, but it's also a firmly held belief or opinion. All right, so you have the right to your own beliefs. Okay. So, I have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. That's really hard, because sometimes people talk about respect has to be earned. Respect is a given. I need respect. Respect is a really big one. But again, maybe practice 1 or 2 of these over the holiday season and see what happens. Number 7, I have the right to change my mind or decide on a different course of action. That's a really interesting choice, and I think for me that relates to the choice that this is the first year I chose to actually, I chose to go to a friend's house during Thanksgiving, and I'm super, super excited about that, but it was the first time I actually chose to be away from family, and that is actually a really big deal for me. So yeah, we have the right to all these choices. Let's go back to the list though. Okay. let's see, the next one is I have the right to protest unfair treatment or criticism. I have the right to expect honesty from others. I have the right to my own values and standards. I have the right to be angry at someone I love. Okay, this is a hot topic. Number 11, I have the right to be angry at someone else. This is a really hot topic because I think one of the things that I was talking about with in my own family, hablando de la familia in Thanksgiving, is yeah, I think we have the right to be angry at someone. And if you have, an inter-family dynamic, if you have something that really bothers you and causes you pain, I think one of my favorite ways to address this issue is that, you have the right to be angry. You have the right to that space. And you can definitely forgive, but you can also take your time to remember. And I think that one takes time. So I just wanted to illustrate that one. That one really stuck out to me. So let's see. I have the right to say I don't know. I have the right, and that's a good one. I don't know, or let me get back to you on that. I have the right to negotiate for change. That's a huge one. Everybody knows we have that lawyer in the family. Everybody knows we have that 4-year-old, cousin, niece, daughter, or nephew who you're like, okay, they're going to be a future lawyer. I have the right to negotiate for change. I have the right to be in a non-abusive environment. This is really huge. If you are in an abusive environment, there are resources that you can help, SafeLink, and also websites you can actually visit that have, let's see if I can pull one up for you right now. Website. So there are actually websites you can go. And what's really powerful about these websites, let me see if I can just hold on just one second. I'm trying to find, okay, this particular website, okay, so here's a really good example because I didn't find exactly what it was. Okay, so I went on the hotline.org, which is National Domestic Violence Hotline. So there are some websites how in this corner you'd have a button that would be if you're in an unsafe environment, essentially if it means that if you're in an unsafe environment and there's someone close to you who it would be dangerous if they saw this page, you would click on that button. However, here, as soon as you go on this page, it gives you a safety alert, which I really like. I'm a big advocate of safety alerts, trigger alerts, severe weather alerts, school closing alerts. It says safety alert. Computer use can be monitored, and it is impossible to completely clear. If you're afraid your internet usage might be monitored, call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or TTY 1-800-787-3224. Yeah, that's a really powerful tool. And I think, again, if we're talking about this piece on the paper that says I have the right to be in a non-abusive environment right here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're getting to the end of the list here. All right, I have the right to non-abusive environment, number 14. Okay, so if you are in an abusive environment over the holiday season, obviously this is a treacherous time. And there are resources that you can use, and there are resources that will help you strategy safe plans. And regardless of the environment if you're also growing and you're creating your own personality and you're discovering your identity, whether that's at returning from college at 19 or returning home at 35 or going home at 60, I think too, it really, having that support and having that plan and always knowing what it is that makes you feel good and safe is also really important. So that's for everybody in a really diverse way. So let's continue on. Number 15, I have the right to ask for help or emotional support. That also is, what we were just talking about. And I think what's really important about that emotional support is that it is what you can create. If you're in a crisis, there are immediate response teams for you. Um, and if you're a human being, you create that support. That's why it's so great, especially to live in a community like Cambridge, because there's such a diverse range of support, which I love. Sometimes I need support on the dance floor and I need to take a dance class in Central. Sometimes I need the type of support that the Cambridge Women's Centers offer, and I need just dialogue in a safe space with women. Sometimes I need space in my own apartment, and I got to tell my roommates, I got to speak up and say, hey, I want to get a little group together. I want to use the common room that night. Yeah, so, you have your spaces. And you have your space, you have your right to your own needs for personal space and time, even if others would prefer my company. So that's a really interesting point, because, I giggle because I related to a personal point. But yeah, that's an interesting point that I've actually had some dialogue on, with friends who are kind of torn for the holidays, or torn with, not torn, but balancing relationships. It's, even though they would need your company, as long as you encourage them as well to be good company for themselves, I think everybody kind of wins in the process. So yeah, and then number 17 is also a really good follow-up, and it says, I have the right not to have to justify myself to others. I think that's huge, especially because I'm just gonna take a moment to process that one. I'm gonna repeat that. Number 17, I have the right not to have to justify myself to others. And I think that's huge, because holidays, you see people you haven't seen in forever. Holidays are the time you're back in your hometown. You may have started a life somewhere else in the city, and you go back to the burbs or another state. You leave Central, and all of a sudden you're back in school, or you're back in your high school town, and you run into your high school rival, or you used to be captain of the soccer team, and now you're sitting at a desk working at IT. I don't know what it is, but it gets really, really competitive. So I think it's huge, to be able to just say in that competitive field, hey, listen, yeah, I don't have to justify myself to you. It's good enough that I exist. And not even good enough. It's not like a value judgment, but it's like, hey, we're people. So yeah, in the spirit of people, let's keep going. Let's keep going down this list right here. Okay. So, number 18, I have the right not to take responsibility for somebody else's behavior, feelings, or problems. This is huge. Sometimes you want to help, sometimes you can't. This one's a really complicated one. It means something to me. Kind of take a moment to think about what it means to you. I have the right not to always worry about the goodwill of others. Okay, people, you have the right not to worry. There's that little saying that worrying causes cancer. I worried on the way here. We worry all the time. But just know that this list reminds you. You have the right not to always worry about the goodwill of others. And number 21, I have the right to choose not to respond to a situation. This is really interesting. 21 is an interesting note to end this list on. And thanks for accompanying me through this list. And it's really interesting because it's saying, yeah, I have the right not to respond to the situation. It's hard, because sometimes you're walking on the street, you have the time to help someone across the street. And then sometimes you have the response and you can't say it. And then sometimes you have the situation. I'm actually fixing the dock cam right now, excuse me. Then you have the situation that the response, has to be creative and appropriate for the setting that you're in. So if you're with a colleague and your colleague's having a problem and you want to respond as a friend, you want to respond as a colleague, if you're a teacher and you want to respond to one of your students who's having a really big struggle, there are different ways to respond. And it just reminds me, while you don't always have to, there's been really special moments in my life that someone's responded to me in a way that it has been completely unexpected. And we're coming up to the year of a big high school reunion for me. I'm getting a little bashful because I don't say which one. But yeah, I actually found something in a memory box that my mom had. And it's a really, really beautiful history of mine that I wanted to share with you guys. In high school, in middle school, I was really involved with chorus. I was in the musical. I've sung, all my life, ever since I could know words, something like, ah, like something. When I was little, I just made noises all the time. I just loved it. I loved to be happy. I listened to a lot of music. In high school, I did not make the a cappella group. And looking back, I had that fierce cry. It would almost mimic, I was crying so much and suffering, and then I couldn't breathe, and I was to work, and I was like hyperventilating. It was awful. And my English teacher, I'm going to go to the Dockham, surprised me with this letter. And I wanted to leave you with this note that my teacher wrote to me many years ago. Many years ago, in like '01. It says, "Dear Cassandra, whatever the decision may be on the singing groups, you still are the glorious singer and musician you have always been. Although I have heard you sing only twice, your sparkling tones have cheered me and made my heart sing. I am certain old Hemingway would support you and tell you to be brave and confident. How challenging your year has been, old girl, but you have met it with courage. May the next year be filled and easier with days. We love you. Love, Jeannie Goddard." This was by far, and this will be my ending note, one of the greatest gestures that one of my school educator has given to me. The simple phrase "I love you" in a very giving, non-denominational, non-familiar delivery in such a time for me that clubs and status and grades were hugely important for my future. That note to me is something that I really cherish, and it was a really great joy to have. And it just meant so much. And I think it even meant more reading it 10 years later. And I just hope it's written with a Sharpie and it's written on paper. And what I really implore for you this holiday season, especially on the day of giving thanks, is just taking a Sharpie, just the Sharpie right here, whatever Sharpie, and writing a note to someone who you think really needs it. And even if it's the person who doesn't ask